Hi, I'm Paula Hollywood from ARC Advisory Group. We're here this morning speaking with Paul Marshall, Vice President of Asset Performance at Bentley Systems. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. Paul, Bentley Systems recently acquired IVARA in September, actually. What has been the response to this acquisition in the marketplace?
Bentley has for a long time been a leader in the plant infrastructure space and sustaining infrastructure. They have a deep-rooted history in the management of those facilities and providing solutions from a design-build perspective that are very well used by engineering groups, on the owner-operator side as well as the EPC side. And really they have got into the AssetWise space platform some time ago, and IVARA is really a new addition to the AssetWise platform. So as we know, there's a lot of activity going on in the asset performance management space, and being able to leverage the relationships that we already have as Bentley on the design build side and extend those further within the same install base to provide additional solutions on the operate and maintain side, it's been received very well.
Excellent. Yeah, we're very excited about it in our space. How is the integration of IVARA software progressing into Bentley Systems?
The software is going very well. We have a release coming out in Q2 of this year, which really allows a lot of Bentley users to leverage their trust licensing relationships. We will be completely branded from a technology perspective as a Bentley solution and as Bentley product. And in addition, we're talking about a number of things from a functional perspective in terms of areas where we will take the product. A lot of those will be in further releases beyond what's coming out in Q2, but product development is going very, very well, and the teams are all acclimated. The same development crew that existed at IVARA continues to exist today, reporting up through the Bentley software infrastructure. So those teams are working very closely together, and the product continues to progress very, very well.
Great. Well, we hope you'll bring it to our area because we definitely need some help with our infrastructure. Bentley has a large EPC user base. How will this group benefit from IVARA software?
Yeah, so the EPCs have they were very eager and very much received the message well. We held an event in Napa late last year, around the time of the acquisition actually, where this was introduced. We all know the EPC space is highly competitive. There's a lot more requirements for them to be able to provide facilities that are safer, that are operating more efficiently upon handover, that even situations where they have to share risk in some of those endeavors as they bid. So the addition of an asset management solution into what they do is very meaningful to them, both from a competitive perspective as well as from a differentiation perspective. So we've had a lot of good meetings with the EPCs. Bentley has a great relationship with almost all of the EPCs. And so it's a group we tend to penetrate more and spend some more time talking to.
Yeah, I think historically EPCs have not really paid a whole lot of attention to plant operation because they really walk away and they're not responsible for that. But we see this as very exciting to build asset management information back into the design phase.
Yeah, it is, and owner-operators are getting more and more sophisticated in terms of what their requirements are and what they want to actually have handed over to them. And so, owner-operators are continuing to drive EPCs to deliver more and more, and to help them be able to operate the most efficient plant that they can, both from a cost perspective as well as from a health and safety perspective and from an environmental perspective.
Very exciting. What does the concept of intelligent infrastructure mean to Bentley?
Intelligent infrastructure is a lot about information mobility. When you go through the design build stage of building intelligent infrastructure, there is reams and reams of data that's generated. Helping that data not die at the handoff between design build and operate and maintain is really the concept of intelligent infrastructure, allowing all of that data to transition into actionable knowledge and allowing it to be portable across the entire asset life cycle, rather than decomposing the asset life cycle into separate and distinguishable parts, rather viewing it as a holistic system, and how we allow the data that's streaming off of equipment now to actually live not just from the inception of when that facility is designed, but all the way through until when it's retired, is really the concept of intelligent infrastructure. And it's allowing that data to really be mobile across the entire chain.
I think that's excellent foresight because it's been missing in our industry, and it sounds like you people are going to bring it to us.
Yeah, it has, and I've tended to focus more on the operate and maintain side, and so certainly as the operators of facilities, there's always the need for where's the P&ID information, and where are the drawings, and what was originally supposed to be here, and the whole as built versus as operated models need to just become clearer because there's so much good knowledge that exists in the design build phase that the owner operators can really leverage to have a better performing facility.
Excellent. Bentley is a leader in asset lifecycle information management solutions. What trends are you seeing in the space?
Yeah, so we've talked a lot, certainly at this conference, and we talk a lot with users about data and about how they manage data, what they do with it. It continues to be a trend and will continue to be a trend, I think. It will evolve over time. The data problem that a lot of people have today is multiple different forms of data, right? It comes in all different manners, but it's coming faster and it's getting harder for people to actually manage. So understanding what all that data means and how they actually wrap that around a strategy that's going to improve the performance of the plant, that's going to drive better results. Managing your infrastructure rather than having your infrastructure manage you would be the way I would kind of say that as a trend. So allowing, we're really taking a lot of the data that exists on the plant floor, wrapping strategy around what that data means and how you actually drive different action in your facility to increase the performance of that facility, to reduce health and safety incidents, and to be responsible from an environmental perspective around how it operates. It's really about helping them manage risk, but managing it in a more intelligent way, managing it in a way that's rooted in true data, true condition of your facility at a particular point in time, and how you transition all of that. It's not just about taking the data and making it knowledge. The important thing is it has to be actionable knowledge. If you can't change what you're doing the next day based on what that information is telling you, then it's not really valuable to you. At the end of the day, we want to help them transition all that data into something that when folks come into work the next day, they're actually going out into the plant and they're doing something different than they were doing the day before because they have data that tells them what the true state of that facility is. They're not just changing the oil every 30 days because 30 days has passed. They're taking action based on the true state of their equipment. So that trend continues to grow and grow and grow. APM as a space is still a fairly early adopter space, I think, but it is gaining in traction every single year. More and more people are understanding that we can't just manage our facility the same way that we did 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, and expect to have exponentially different results. We need to look at what we do, we need to change what we're doing to actually impact the performance of that facility.
I couldn't agree more, listening to our keynote speakers at this event and how manufacturing is transforming and different sets of information are going to be required, and we really need to utilize that more. And I think Bentley Systems is on the leading edge of that and will help manufacturing transform itself.
Yeah, it's really an evolutionary time. There's the prevalence of data and the inability for people or the struggle to try and manage that data is something that's a real problem. One of the things now from an O&M perspective that we can start to do a little better job of within the entire asset life cycle with the other Bentley products is as we operate a facility, we learn lots of things about how that facility was designed and built. And some of them are very good and some of them are not, and they create some problems in the O&M. But what we can do now from a technology perspective, when you look at the whole suite of asset lifecycle products that Bentley has, we can actually take learnings from the O&M environment and feed those back from a process and from a technology perspective into the design build products. So as we learn things that work in design in the operating and maintaining of our facilities, we can now inform the design build process so that the next time we go and build a facility, we can change the design of that facility based on what we know works and what we know didn't work in the operate and maintain stage of the asset life cycle.
Thank you for speaking with us, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We've been speaking with Paul Marshall, Vice President of Asset Performance for Bentley Systems. Thank you for watching.